Alright, well, I kind of wanted to explain what the phrase sell your soul to the devil means. Because uh, in recent decades, it's a pretty meaningless term. Not very many people, I think, understand what it really means. And conversely, I want to explain what asceticism is, what it really is, and what it really means. Um, a lot of people these days haven't even heard of the term, including Christians in the West. So I'm going to explain those terms because it's one way to help you understand the difference between monism and dualism, and that's a good that's a good reason to learn what those terms mean. So basically, when people say "sell your soul to the devil," so what does that mean? What does that mean? Well, how do people usually think of it? Like, what's the Hollywood version, or what's the comic book version? Well, you're down in the dumps, kicking the can. You say, "Oh gosh, I wish I had $1 million," and then in front of you the ground opens up, and out comes this big hairy demon. Um, and the demon says, "Here, sign this contract, and I'll give you $1 million." And then you go, "Oh boy, I get $1 million," and then you sign your name on the contract in blood, and he laughs, ha 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 ha, and then goes back down. And in that Hollywood, yeah, in that Hollywood version, I guess the concept is that you get $1 million, but then you die, and then because you signed the contract, you have to be like in hell for eternity or something. I don't know, but that way of looking at it, the Hollywood way, the comic book way, is dualism. Dualism. And I say comic book because comic book, that's a good analogy, because in a comic book, it's like some people can have, in like a comic book universe, some people can have superpowers. Like let's say Steve over there. Steve, he just looks like a normal guy, but he's got secret superpower, and you can't tell because he looks like a normal guy. He can fly. Steve can fly, or look into the future. Yeah, that's like a comic book world. And so people who have a dualist view of the world kind of see the world as like a comic book world. And Steve over there could see into the future, or the ground could open up at any time and a big demon could come out of the ground, or I don't know, space ghosts. The Matrix. It's dualism. Oh yeah, the supernatural, the dualism, and the supernatural are one and the same. To think of something as to think that something supernatural exists, you basically, what you're saying is that, well, here's nature, and then there's stuff beyond nature, outside of nature, the supernatural. But actually, we don't live in a comic book world, and there is no such thing as the supernatural. There are weird things that do happen that are not even close to being like that. but they are natural things, and it's not like a superpower that only some people, only the ascended people can have. It's the superpowers that people have are attainable by anyone because of monism. Yeah, so that's the dualist way to view the phrase "sell your soul to the devil." The correct way to look at it, though, is the monist way. What is the monist way? Well, let's analyze the statement real quick. Sell your soul to the devil. There's selling and the devil. There's two main parts. The first part, selling, is obvious. Has to do with money and stuff related to money. And then there's the devil part. So, in the comic book dualist view of the world, the devil is like a hairy, horned red beast that comes out of the ground. But actually, in the monist Bible, in the authentic Christian faith, or in science, or really any religion in the world, the view of spirits is such as the devil, or Satan, or Lucifer, whatever name you want to give it. The view of spirits is a monist view, meaning that spirit, the word spirit, is basically the same as your mind. An angel or a demon is a spirit, meaning it has to do with your mind. An angel or a demon could be a qualia or a collection of qualia, making up a thought, or a collection of thoughts making up a consciousness, or a collection of consciousnesses making up a greater consciousness. It's a kind of a hierarchical system, and it's ultimately referring to the collective consciousness, and that's part of monism, a part of nature. So, when you're talking about demons or the devil, basically you're talking about your mind, but like the negative aspects of your mind. So negative emotions like fear or greed, stuff like that. Or it's referring to generally ignorance, or a desire for chaos. Like when they say, oh, he just wants to see the world burn. Well, that would be demonic in the more authentic sense of the term spirit. That would be a demonic spirit. So what does it mean to sell your soul to the devil? Well, basically, it's like if in the movie The Matrix, when that guy he woke up and he knew what reality was like, but he wanted to go back to sleep, and he said ignorance is bliss. Well, the term ignorance, that's referring to the devil because of monist spirit. And he was making a deal with this agent, whatever his name is. He's making a deal. Basically, that was the archetype of selling your soul to the devil. There are a bunch of different versions of this, and a better way a good way to help understand this concept is basically the opposite, which is asceticism. I don't mean aesthetic like vaporwave aesthetic. I mean ascetic like a Buddhist monk. There is asceticism in pretty much every religion, because pretty much every religion is monist. Asceticism, basically what that is you basically you boondock it. You go out boondocking. You walk around in the woods and pick fruit off of trees, and you basically opt out of society. You have very few, if any, possessions. You don't engage with buying and selling stuff a lot. You don't get married and have kids, etc., etc. Um, Asceticism. The general idea of asceticism is that you're removing yourself from the physical aspect of of the world, and you're checking out. You're because the well, I'm gonna make a video in the future about ethics, but it has to do with ethics. You're trying to be an ethical being as much as you possibly can. It's not 100% possible even if you're ascetic, because yeah, you're not doing any bad, but also you're not really helping people as much as you could. Of course, ascetic people do their best, but everyone's human. Um, Asceticism is the opposite of selling your soul to the devil, because selling your soul to the devil means that you're trading your knowledge and understanding or spiritual coherence for money or worldly possessions, whereas the ascetic is doing the opposite. They're getting rid of all the distractions and focusing on their own personal spirituality, which is a key component to the spiritual health of the collective as well. A lot of the Christians who view the term selling your soul to the devil in the comic book way or the dualist way don't really get asceticism. Also, in Christianity, asceticism isn't as big because of the whole the Jesus soteriology. Um, and that's probably one of the reasons why Christianity has become dualist in recent decades. Oh, it didn't help at the very least. So yeah, that's I think I covered everything. It's pretty interesting stuff.
One last note. Basically, to sell your soul is to put yourself in really any situation in which money or other worldly motivations enable ignorance. I don't want to sound preachy. I'm not perfect, and I'm trying to figure out things just like everyone else. But I do want to explain this concept in a way that more people can access it. So, an intelligent person has the ability to achieve their goals, but a wise person will ask why it is that this is chosen as a goal in the first place. The result of that wisdom is the realization that the true prize, in the grand scheme of things, is not money or status or a relationship with another person. The true prize is a better version of yourself. And this is what success really is at the fundamental level.